You know, when we talk about artificial intelligence in the military, it's not just another upgrade. This isn't like getting a faster jet or a bigger ship. No, we are talking about a fundamental revolution, a complete rewriting of the playbook for how modern conflict works.
And that's really the big question we're tackling today, isn't it? Is AI truly rewriting the rules of war? And if so, what in the world do those new rules even look like?
Okay, let's dive right in. To really get what's new, it helps to look back at the last big shift in warfare. This table here compares the AI revolution with the older era of electronic and cyber warfare. And wow, you can just see the leap across every single dimension. Speed goes from minutes, or even hours, down to milliseconds. Targeting goes from just jamming a signal to fully autonomous strikes. And democratization, well, that's a real game changer we're going to get into. The bottom line is this: we're shifting from just reacting to predicting, from semi-automated to truly autonomous.
That brings us to our first new rule of war: speed is everything. And with AI, we're not just talking about fast. We're talking about a speed that's, well, it's just beyond what a human can even process.
So there's this core concept called the sensor-to-shooter timeline. Basically, that's the time it takes from when you spot a target to when you actually engage it. This used to be a process that could take hours, sometimes days, with all these analysts and commanders and a long chain of command. AI has crushed that entire loop down to milliseconds. Decisions and actions are now happening at machine speed.
And this isn't just theory. We are seeing the real-world impact right now. Over in Ukraine, AI assistance has boosted the accuracy of those FPV, or first-person view drone strikes, from a pretty hit-or-miss 30 to 50% all the way up to 80%. That is a decisive difference on the battlefield today.
And it's not just about drones either. During India's 2025 Operation Sindoor, their AI-powered targeting systems hit a stunning 94% accuracy rate. That kind of precision comes from the AI crunching decades of historical data against real-time intel to find targets with just incredible reliability.
And it's not just about hitting the target, it's about staying on target. In one test, a Chinese AI radar system maintained 99% tracking accuracy while under intense electronic jamming. An older system would be completely blinded, right? But the AI, it just adapts, filters out all that noise, and keeps its eye locked on.
So how is all this incredible speed and accuracy even possible? Well, the secret sauce, if you will, is a technology called sensor fusion. AI takes this absolute flood of data from satellites, drones, radar, you name it, and instead of just layering it, it fuses it all together into one single, coherent, real-time picture of the battlefield. It sees the entire board all at once. So, this incredible new capability doesn't just change how war is fought, it's also changing who gets to fight effectively. And that brings us to our second new rule: anyone can play.
We're talking about the democratization of military power here. AI is giving smaller nations, and even non-state actors, the ability to punch way above their weight class, challenging the established military powers in ways that were just unimaginable a few years ago.
So how are they doing it? Well, it's not by building huge traditional armies. They're getting smart. They're using low-cost drones, they're using commercial and open-source AI software, and they're even fusing data from public sources. It means a country like Ukraine can roll out advanced autonomous systems that can seriously challenge a much, much larger conventional military.
This is what people mean when they say it's leveling the playing field. It creates this whole new kind of strategic asymmetry, where a smaller, more nimble player can cause some serious damage to a much larger opponent. Suddenly, the old math, just counting tanks and soldiers, it starts to look really outdated.
But, with all this incredible power and all this new access, there's a dark side. Every new technology creates new weak spots. And the third new rule is that there are now completely new ways to cheat the system.
It's not just the good guys who are using AI. Malicious actors are weaponizing it to automate and scale up their attacks. They're creating malware that literally learns and adapts in real time to avoid being caught, making traditional cybersecurity feel like an impossible game of whack-a-mole.
To get a sense of the scale of this, just look at this chart. A staggering 1,265% increase in phishing schemes. That is not a typo. And it's because attackers are using AI, like large language models, to generate millions of hyper-convincing fake emails. This isn't just spam. We're talking about perfectly tailored social engineering, delivered on an industrial scale.
And it's not just about volume. It's about the real-world impact. $25 million.
That's how much was lost to deepfake-enabled fraud in 2025 alone. Just imagine, a CEO's voice is faked perfectly to authorize a wire transfer. It's happening, and it shows the very real financial and strategic damage these things can cause.
But as scary as all that is, the AI systems being put on the actual battlefield have their own unique and, frankly, critical vulnerabilities. The risks here aren't just about money. They could be catastrophic.
Okay, so one of the most clever, most dangerous threats is something called an adversarial attack. This isn't about hacking the code, it's about fooling the AI's senses. An adversary can create a piece of deceptive input, say a special physical patch they stick on a vehicle, that looks like nothing to a human, but it causes the AI's recognition system to completely misidentify the target. It could see a friend as a foe, leading to a massive failure. It's basically tricking the machine's mind.
And that's not the only danger. You've got data poisoning, where bad actors sneak corrupted data into the AI's training, basically teaching it all the wrong lessons from the start. There's model theft, which is exactly what it sounds like, stealing the AI's brain. And then there's maybe the most human danger of all, automation bias, which is just us, the humans, trusting the AI black box a little too much, especially when the pressure's on.
So all of this, it leads us to a really unpredictable future. We've seen the power, we've seen the new players, and we've definitely seen the perils. The rulebook isn't just being rewritten. In a lot of ways, it's being written for the very first time as we go.
And this really gets to the heart of the whole thing, doesn't it? AI in war is a classic double-edged sword. It offers these almost unimaginable capabilities, but at the same time, it introduces profound, system-level risks that we're only just starting to wrap our heads around.
And it's so important to remember that for all the hype, actually getting this tech onto the battlefield is incredibly hard. There are these huge real-world hurdles, from poor data quality to the nightmare of integrating with old systems, and of course, the enormous ethical and regulatory questions about who's accountable and who's in control.
And that leaves us with this one final, really critical question. The technology is already out there, rewriting the rules of conflict at machine speed. But as it does, who is going to write the rules for the AI itself? That's the challenge that's going to define the security of the 21st century.